This is Pete Thomas from NBC's The Biggest Loser. This is week number 16 and we're slimming down. The number of contestants is slimming down. The contestants themselves are slimming down. The time between now and the finale is slimming down. And so what happens on the ranch, since there are fewer contestants to actually film, we get to see a little bit more about the contestants and their personalities, a little bit more insight into them as people. And that's typically a good thing because these contestants are really some great people. Of course, you got some carryover. The show starts off with carryover from last week, from the elimination when Laura got eliminated. And we see Jillian talking to Tara and all of that good stuff. And everybody basically concludes that it was a good decision to send Laura home. Then we go into a quiz, and it's Good Housekeeping as a sponsor of the quiz. And what do you get for winning the quiz? You get a 3-day trip to New York City. Mike wins that. Good job, Michigan Mike, for winning the trip to New York City. I wonder who he's going to share it with. Probably Dad. Anyway, from there we go to the challenge. And challenges are always a foregone conclusion, but Felipe makes it much more interesting with his antics. He cracks a lot of jokes. He's shaking the overhead rigging. Oh, maybe I should tell you what the challenge was. Basically, you're taken up on this rigging and you hold on to this rope. You're holding your body weight by holding on to this rope. When you let go of the rope, you drop down, you're out of the competition. So as I said before, it's a foregone conclusion that Tara's going to win. But who's going to provide some competition? Well, Helen hangs in there for quite a while, but really, this was made special and made funny by Felipe's antics. He's the cracking of the jokes and all of that good stuff. I'm glad he's on the show because I really, one of the old lines, what did he call Kristen? He called her a big blueberry. That was a classic line. So, but anyway, we go from there. Where do we go next? We go to the last chance workout. We see the typical things. We see Bob and Jillian. They're pushing their people really hard. And we see, Kristen running at a speed of 10. And then we see Jillian working out with Mike. And we see Mike, and her, they start discussing the past. And one of the things that she said, let me grab my note paper. She said that about Mike, that fat kid is always going to be there. So whenever he struggles and whenever he fails, he looks at himself as a failure. And it's very good mental work going on there. And Jillian starts to deal with him and deal with his mind. And so he actually goes and approaches his dad and he asks, Dad, why are we in this situation? Very good stuff going on there. Again, I told you about that character development. We see what goes on in their household. And we see Mike go and approach Ron and asking him, why are we here? Well, you'd have to say, some of that was Ron's fault, and he admits to that. But the great thing is that now they're making a change as a family. And so all of those things will be put to the side as they focus on their new life together. It's going to be great to have in the house, have two people who have been successful on The Biggest Loser to work and practice on that success going forward. So that's great stuff. Great television. I have to admit, it was great stuff. And then we go to the weigh-in. The first thing we want to know about the weigh-in is, how are the Michigan teams? Well, Ron has an okay week. Mike has a great week. Or actually, let me mention, Ron's below 300 pounds for the first time in a couple decades. Mike has a good week. Tara's jamming, of course. But our girl Helen, she falls below the yellow line. Felipe is doing okay. And who joins her? Oh, it's Kristen. Kristen Steed drops below the yellow line. And so then we see the dynamics. Let me tell you, at this stage of the game, and actually started a couple of weeks before, at this stage in a game, every decision that's made is about the money. Who's going to win the challenge? It's about the money. It's all about the money. And so we see that Ron tells Kristen, I told your mom that I would never vote you off, or I would never write your name on a sheet of paper. Ron, just the strategist, he's just the strategist from, wherever, from Michigan here. He does a great job when he says that, because there is no guarantee that his son would not vote against Kristen. And so he works that. We see their little private discussions. One of the places where typically when I was on the ranch, they did not have cameras in the bathrooms. But things would happen in the bathrooms, discussions and conversations would happen in the bathrooms, to the point to where I know the producers start putting mics in the bathroom. So, of course, while we were there, we knew that we had battery packs on, so we would go to the bathroom and make all kind of noises to irritate the audio guys. But this time, we've actually got a mic in the bathroom to capture the collaboration, to capture the conniving that's going on. Basically, the Brown team has got this thing on lockdown. They know that they're going to get rid of Kristen, and Ron's going to, quote, keep his word. And so, again, we go to the elimination room. Kristen's got to go. Although Ron does say he doesn't know what his son's going to do, and we know that's not necessarily true. We know that wasn't true at all. We know, but it's about the game. It's about the game. A couple other interesting things here. We see that, Kristen, she had been allying herself all along with him, and she knew that that was risky. I actually had a chance to talk to her today on the press conference call, so check out the blog for that information. The other interesting thing to me is that Ron just goes right out and says it. My son's going to win this competition. Very, very bold, very bold. I like the fact that he's putting it out there. But the thing about it is, the most intense competitor, one of the most in Biggest Loser history, is Tara, and she's sitting just a couple of seats down from her. And so when I'm thinking, when Tara hears this back at home, that's going to push her workouts to another level. Now, it's true. Mike has absolutely the best chance, and I told you guys weeks and weeks ago that the competition was over as far as who the finalists are. So we'll see how he does. He's got the upper hand as far as the weight that needs to be lost, but does he have the upper hand as far as that competitive nature? He's not really been a competitor growing up, I don't think. So we'll just have to see in a couple of weeks how things go. The finale is just a couple of weeks away, just a few weeks away. So we'll see you there. Check out the blog for some interview information from our time with Kristen on the phone. And then check us out here, mlive.com. This is Pete Thomas for the Grand Rapids Press and the Going Gonzo blog. We'll talk to you next time.